My name is Jordan Parhar, and I will be the host for this podcast today. It is great to be here with you once again. We're going to be talking Big Brother 17, and I am joined by the lovely Miss Sarah Hanlon. She's the better half of the Jason and Danielle Alliance of Big Brother Canada 3 and the winner of Big Brother Canada 3. So Sarah, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, Jason, Jordan, it's good to be here. My favorite. Thank you for having me. It's an honor. I'm so glad you're rocking your shows. I was waiting to be here. I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you. Yeah, just thank you so much for coming. It's a pleasure as always, Sarah. I mean, you're the greatest of all time, as Russell Hantz would say. No, I love you. You're awesome, and you're just one of my. It's an honor to have you as a friend and to know you so well. And I love you, Sarah. So I wish that I'm jealous of Scotty, man. Scotty Bates. I mean, he's got a good catch.
I couldn't love you more, Par. You're my favorite.
You're awesome, Sarah. Okay, so to those of you, all the true believers out there joining us today in Rob Has a Planet, we're gonna be taking your questions live. We've got the chat room going on robhasawebsite.com. You can tweet us your questions. I am at Jordan Parhar. You can use the hashtag RHAPpy if you'd like to leave a question. You can leave a comment on YouTube as well. So many different ways you can get involved in this show. And we're live and interactive, and that's what we do. So it's going to be a lot of fun today. We have a new podcast feed, actually. If you want to subscribe to us on iTunes, you can go to robhasawebsite.com/RHAPpy. That is RHAPPY hour. And that way you can get us on iTunes and in your little podcast devices a lot easier. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome. And I'm super pumped that we got that going. So shout out to Rob Sesternino for hooking me up with that. Okay, so before we get into Big Brother 17, Sarah, how the hell are you? How are you doing? You just won Big Brother Canada 3. You got $100,000. So how has life been? Are you used to this newfound fame yet? Now that you are the most famous person from our season.
Stop it, Par. Life is great. The celebrity, like you say, I'm used to just walking up to people on the streets anyway. Now they walk up to me, so that works out. I went to the Brick today.
Ooh, okay. So you got your $25,000 gift card to the Brick. So any things you picked up, Sarah, or are you still thinking?
Scott may be installing a TV in the basement as we speak. So.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Okay, sweet. That's so good. And then, so for everyone at home, or for those of you who did not watch Big Brother Canada 3, Sarah started this season as an employee, and now she has $100,000. So, yeah. Sarah, are you going to go back to your job? Or are you going to? I know you had aspirations to maybe do some writing, some other things, and you are very talented, very intelligent. You can do whatever you want to do, I'm sure. So what is next for you, Sarah? What are your plans? Do you have any yet? I know I currently don't, because I don't really know what's going on with my life, because I'm a little bit messed up from this process. But
I hear that, Par. Well, first of all, making sure I get myself in order. Visiting friends and family was first thing. So I'm just back in the city now and just starting to decide what I want to do with all that. I think I am definitely going to go back to work at Vapor, just because it's such an awesome place and they do comedy shows there and stuff. They've talked to me about maybe having my own show there. So yeah, the ball's starting to roll. It's exciting. And of course I have my house guest hangouts on Thursday nights on globaltv.com.
That is right. And congratulations for that. By the way, I mean that's a great gig. I'm super pumped for you. I was so stoked that you got that. I was a little jealous, to be honest with you. But, definitely check out Sarah's show weekly. She's talking about Big Brother 17, just like this show, and you can hear her thoughts each and every week on the House Guest Hangout on globaltv.com. Follow her on Twitter. She's at Flats Hanlon if you want to learn more about that. Okay, so Sarah, Big Brother 17. You and I are both huge super fans of this show before we went on Big Brother. So now it's a pleasure that you and I actually have a platform to talk about this kind of stuff. So let's get right into it.
Can we please?
Yes. Okay, so Mama Day, sadly, goes home by a vote of 7-2. It sucks. It sucks, right? I mean, like the great Ika Wong, like Dr. Neha Serene. The good always go home too early. It's just, it's such a shame. Sarah, as a Big Brother winner, Where do you think Day went wrong? And is she a good player that just got dealt some bad cards? To use no pun intended, she's a poker dealer, but is that what happened, or is she just too aggressive for this game?
Unfortunately, I do think Day did. I mean, I love her to death. Definitely my favorite, my #1 pick. She just played too hard. Like you mentioned, people, Neha in our season, there is a certain element of subtlety, of laid back, of phoniness, too, that you have to bring. And I think someone like Day, she's so cool, she's so real, she has a kid. She's just too tough and too real for a game like Big Brother, I think, that thing with her and Clay, I mean, for the rest of the house, it would have been the smarter move to keep her. But for Clay, I mean, he ran show this week. He cleaned up. He knew that Day had his number there, right? Like with that little interchange, he thought, that's it. I've lost her trust. She knows now that we're not on the same page. And so it was really, really smart of him to do that. And unfortunately, I think it was her own demise. It was her own fault. She couldn't play it cool. She couldn't go and suck up to Clay, What she had to do at that point is kind of just get on her knees, say, I'm so sorry, Clay. But she's just not physically able to do that, and that's why we love her so much, right? So it's hard. It's a double-edged sword, but...
Yeah, and I think that's why Day is just such great, well, one, great casting, and two, great television. Is just because she's so real. This is reality television. We have a real person in Davon Rogers. That's just who she is. So yeah, it's tough. I hate. I love seeing these people on Big Brother all the time, and yeah, like you, I think that's just not who she is. She wasn't able to suck it up and to deal with Clay that way. But hey, good on her for staying true to herself.
Absolutely.
That's why we love her. And but again, this Clay thing, I mean, it's just like it's crazy, these parallels between and I hate going back to Big Brother Canada 3 all the time, but I mean, the parallels are insane. I mean, you got Zach Olenek, aka Clay, running the show, and he's saying, okay, we're gonna get rid of Dave, even though it makes the most sense to get rid of Meg. They all vote out Davon. So let's talk about this for a little bit here. There's a twist last night. There's the Kathy Griffin has the last laugh twist, okay? The BB takeover, Kathy Griffin comes into the house. We have her come to the power veto competition, and we have this twist with the phone where the 7th caller who gets the phone call, or who picks up the phone, gets to cancel 3 votes for the week. So at first I heard this twist. I talked to this a little bit last week with my guest, the great Kevin Martin, and we discussed, great man, we discussed this twist in general, and we weren't quite sure how it was going to go, just depending on the votes. And the worst case scenario was it was going to be a unanimous vote, and it wasn't really going to matter. And that's pretty much what happened this week. Now, we had 2 votes go the other way, which we can talk about in a little bit. But, Sarah, did you like this twist? Do you think that there's a future for this twist of canceling votes? And do you think it has potential, or do you think this is kind of a dud and we got to kick it to the curb?
It depends. I would have liked it. It's maybe too early, right? 3 votes right at the beginning, I don't know how much sway you can do. When the House is voting unanimously, you're going to want 5 votes. If it was 5 votes, completely different story, right? Then they could have changed the game around. But then why even do that? Why not just make it a coup d'etat type thing? So maybe further on in the game, throw something like that out there when people actually have a chance of getting maybe like 3 more votes. Also, they could have done it differently to tell everybody that it was in play. Right? Maybe if they had just secretly given those votes today.
Yes.
And she could have chose who to give that information to. She could have tricked some people, made them think that she already had some votes. But just to tell everybody one of you is going to get the chance, and everybody knew they had it. They were easy to they set up a good defense against that. So it is a dud.
Yeah, it was because, it's sort of like, I was thinking maybe it could be like a sort of a Survivor type of thing with the hidden immunity idol. Everyone gets blindsided and caught off guard, but everybody knew it was coming. So, right. I mean, like in Survivor, when you know a hidden immunity idol is coming, you know how to prepare for it. You know how to, split the votes, whatever it is, to take care of that. And I think, that's probably the reason why it hurt Davon and she wasn't able to take advantage of it. But I agree. I think if it was later in the game, it could have made more of a difference. Or if it was more votes, I think that might have made it really interesting. Although it's a really fine line they're walking. You don't want to be too powerful,
Mm-hmm.
taking, giving it, going total coup d'etat in week 2, right? Like that would be a little bit insane. But at the same time, 3 a little early. It's pretty rare in Big Brother that it's a close vote this early in the game. I mean, you saw that in Big Brother 15 when Nick Uhas went home. But and there were 3 nominees. But other than that, I mean, really, it tends to be unanimous pretty early on, at least in recent memory.
And what they could have done, and what I thought, I was kind of confused at first. I thought maybe the 3 votes would count for the other person.
Ooh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
So you're not just nullifying 3 votes, but you're flipping 3 votes.
That would be interesting. I would really like to see that. That would be interesting because, if we did that, then, let's see, 2, then she would have stayed.
She would have had the numbers.
2 votes. Yeah, she would have had the 2 votes.
And
that would have been good.
They could have played it off as a secret, too. If no one had known, they don't tell everybody first off that there's going to be this power. You get to flip 3 votes. Then you go into the next week, no one knows who voted for who. And there's genuinely 3 confused people, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, if we're gonna rank this twist on a scale of Paul Jackson to Netta Kalantar, what are we gonna give this? Do we want to see this again?
We're on the Kyle Shore end.
We're on the. Okay, so.
Maybe not Paul, but.
Yeah, well, hey, Paul and Kyle, we love you, but I personally, you know what, Sarah, I'd like to see it one more time, just to see maybe a little bit later, and I think the way you put it, I think if you can flip 3 votes to your side, that would be cool, and then it would be similar to this. The way I look at it is it's like the Dan Foley advantage in Survivor Worlds Apart, in which we didn't get to see. I am a fat guy. I am fat. This is bamboo.
I'm genuinely just trying to be nice, Jordan. Honestly, I am.
Oh, Dan Foley. We could do a whole podcast on Dan Foley. But I mean, actually, let's do it one day for sure. Kevin and I, last week, we were talking about doing one on Jerry from BB10. So I think in the off season, maybe we'll just sit down. I'll sit down with some guests, and we'll just talk about reality TV personalities. It'll be fun. But I think there's more to be seen with this thing, and I hope that maybe down the road, Big Brother Canada, Big Brother USA, somebody uses this twist in perhaps a different way, and we get to see the full extent of it, because I think it could be really exciting. It can create a blind side, and that's what we want to see. That makes you like good TV, right, Sarah?
Oh, I like good TV.
I think we all like good TV. Okay, so throughout the week. Yes, we do. So something I want to touch upon is throughout the week, Devon was campaigning to save herself, and several people throughout the week said, well, I would vote to save you, but I don't want to go against the House, and the House doesn't want this to happen, blah, blah, blah. And Johnny Mac is using that as an excuse, which, hey, it's a good excuse, but still, what do you think about this idea of the House, Sarah? Because I had a few people tweet me about this, and would it have made sense for some people who perhaps weren't in the greatest situation at this time during the week, perhaps like a Liz, perhaps a Steve, to go against the House to save Day? Would that make more sense for them, or did they make the right move in sending her home and not pissing them off?
Of course, I think of course they should have gone against the House. I mean, just that kind of language, we dealt with that a lot in our season. The first few weeks, the Ginger Ninja. Let's just go with the House. Now, just that type of language, some people are deluding themselves there, right? Because one decision cannot be good for 15 people. That just logically doesn't make sense. So some people are getting screwed over by this move. Some people it will not benefit. And I think those are the people who are not sitting tight with Shay and Clay and Shelly.
Yes.
Yeah. This was, like we saw in our season, the House is a few select people, Shay, like we're talking about, and the people they're close with. So, yes, I think the Austin, Vanessa, Liz, Steve, John, that whole side of the House should have kept her here, because she's going right after Clay and nobody else right now. She has tunnel vision for Clay, and Clay would have had to have tunnel vision for Day. Then you have Audrey. It would have been, these are the type of people who are always going to have targets on their back. Meg, say hello to Final 2. Almost, right?
Well, yeah, honestly, like I mean, I think Meg. I mean, we'll see what happens with her in these upcoming weeks, but I think that she is in an excellent spot. And really, if you look at it just straight up, who's going to go farther in the game? You got Dave Vaughn on one end, and you got Meg over here. Everyone's going to pick Meg. Meg is
Right.
going to go far. Meg's likable. She gets along with people. She doesn't, she doesn't have any targets. She's playing a really good game, and I think that is what would make more sense. And I think that's a thing in Big Brother that people don't really think about it too often. Is that, I mean, sometimes they do, but I think really, and it's more so with physical threats, but I mean, these smaller people that aren't going to, piss anyone off, that are going to go deep in the game, those are the people you really need to worry about early on. It's not these, not even, honestly, not even really your Clays, your Austins, your Jaces, those guys. You don't really need to worry about those guys as much. It's more so these calculating players like Meg that are like calm, cool, collected. The 3Cs, Rodney, Boston, they're
Yeah.
chill. Those are the kind of guys like that you need to worry about. And I think that these guys could really be kicking themselves in September when Meg walks away with 500 grand, if that's the case, because she certainly has that potential.
I completely agree.
Now, another thing that we saw in the episode last night was the twin twist was exploited. Everybody has found out about the twins. Monday night, Davon, she whispers to Jason. She's been working on this for a little while. She's had her
Why did
theories.
she tell everybody?
That was, now I was going to ask you about that. Was that? Do you think that's the wrong move? Clearly,
I think
agree.
that's the wrong move. She should have went up to Liz and said, "Listen, I know, but I'm the only one who knows, and let's do this, me and you, or share the blame a little bit. Me and Austin know. Go to someone who she's close to. Listen, this small group of us knows. You need to keep me here, or I may just have a loose tongue as I'm walking out those doors on whatever day."
That would have been amazing, and I think definitely is the move. And I think the problem is she told Jason, and Jason just went around and just told everybody about it. And I think that she probably needed to be like, sit Jason down and be like, "Look, Jason, you got to keep this between us for now. I'm going to go approach Liz. We can get these votes, whatever." And I think that would have been her saving grace potentially. That would have been the only way I think she would have stayed in the game.
Yeah.
But there's a few things though I want to touch upon about this being exploited now, Sarah. Now, one. Is this fair? Because now the whole house knows.
I thought it had to be a secret.
Well, apparently no, it did not. Big Brother 5, we had famously Adrian and Natalie.
Right.
They had to remain a secret. But for Liz and for Julia, apparently it does not have to remain a secret. So now it's out in the open. But do you think that they should be expelled from the game because of this? Do you think that should have been a rule?
Yes, it should have been a rule. Because who cares now? The only thing you want to see in the twin twist is that week 5 when that other twin comes walking out and you want to see the jaws drop of the other housemates. Other than that, who cares? That's 2 sisters in the game. Get them out, right?
So, that's the other thing I wanted to ask you is, do you think that's the move, getting rid of Liz and Julia by association because you kill 2 birds with one stone, or do you keep them around, bring them into your alliance? You've got 2 numbers right there. Neither of them are too threatening at this point, and they seem to be relatively loyal. Would you think about potentially using them to your advantage, or no? Would you just be like, no, let's make sure they're up before week 5, sending packing, let's get rid of 2 people, and I'm that much closer to the 500K?
If you're an Austin or Vanessa, I think maybe you do. Maybe you need those numbers so bad at this point that... And you have a good handle on Liz. If you were Liz's number 1 person, I could see wanting to do that. But that's 1 person out of 15. Every other person in that house should be trying to get rid of one of the pair of twins. Because week 5 weeks down the road, that's a long time in the game, And to have 2 numbers solid at that point, that's very scary. So... yeah, but I mean, there's other numbers in the house too, right? You got Jeff and Jackie still that no one seems to be worried about. Shelly and Clay are like this all of a sudden. Jeff and Meg are really close. So there's lots of pairs forming that maybe, I don't know if Liz and Julia would be my number 1 if I was on their side, But I think it's too risky to pull the we need the number move.
Okay, interesting. I would love to see someone try and pull that off. We could see an alliance of, that's not even in full fruition yet because it's only one person currently, and then it's going to evolve into two votes. But yeah, I think it's going to be really tough. I talked about this with all of my guests actually. I've talked about this twin twist, and I really just think it's so hard to pull off. And I wasn't too surprised that they got found out. But we'll see. I mean, it just depends on who gets in power, who wants to utilize them, and it'll be interesting. If it was me personally, I actually think I would want to keep them, just because I want to make good TV, but two, I think that if you keep them and they're going to be fiercely loyal to you, and at the same time, again, no offense to Liz, but not the greatest, and Julia, but not the greatest strategic minds. I think these people are both recruits. They're people that are votes in your back pocket. You can pick them up, throw them on your back, and just take them to the end with you. There's 2 free votes for you. I think not the worst idea in the world.
If you're someone like Austin, especially too, right? Who does? I think that's her #1 person. She goes to him, talks to him about everything. So if it was someone like, to me, like someone like B, 100%. That's like it's a whole other Hail Mary for you. But if you weren't really, really, really close to Liz or Julia or whoever, then I think you'd have to make the cut. And so that's up to Liz/Julia to make everybody feel like they're her #1, right? So she'll have to play that really smart and make everybody feel very close to her. And that's the only way I see them staying.
Yeah, she needs to give you a call, Sarah.
Yeah.
For real, seriously. I'm excited. I want to see them both enter the game. I think we all want to see that at this point. I'm a little disappointed that it's just out in the open and everyone. I mean, earlier, last night, Liz was like, "I'm the real Liz" in the HOH room, and everyone's like, and so happy. And it's like, come on now, this is kind of stupid that
no one wants to see this.
No, right? So, I mean, the secret is the coolest part and nobody knowing, and now it's over. And it's a little disappointing, but we'll see. It'll be fun to watch, regardless, if they can make it. And this level of strategy, though, will be interesting because now people are aware of it, and are they going to use them to their advantage, or are they not? Remains to be seen. Now, I want to talk about someone else before we get into spoilers, talking about the live feed stuff, and that is our girl Audrey. We haven't talked yet really about this, Sarah. We were out this past weekend at Ranchman's in Calgary.
Yes, we were.
We were both intoxicated, so we didn't have a chance to talk about this. But Audrey, what is your take on Audrey so far, Sarah? I'm interested to hear what you think.
Greg, you mean, right? You mean this season's Greg. Devin.
Straight up. Devin.
She's starting the bomb squad. She's starting the chop shop. She is all over the place. She is waking people up in the middle of the night. #1 thing you never do, people, on Big Brother, never wake people up in the middle of the night. They don't like that. They don't want to talk to you.
And don't wake up people in the middle of the night when there's someone right next to them or when they're in the middle of a conversation and you only pull one person away.
Did she do the math wrong? It's like she took Jeff, right? And then it's like she counted and she was like, oh, no, we're going to need Meg too. And she goes back down, gets Meg out.
I mean, it's ridiculous. If you're going to ask her at that point, I mean, just ask Meg to join if it's really that. I mean, you already have 7. Why not just add an 8th if she's right there? So what do you think? Okay, so Audrey, I mean, a little all over the place. Okay, last week, Jace goes home. There's 1 hinky vote. It's Audrey. This week,
2.
Day goes home. Jason admits it's him that he's voting. The other way. He's Davon's loyal person. Audrey again votes the wrong way. So, what do you think about this? Do you like it? This is a very unorthodox strategy, continuing being so over the place, but then continuing to just, I mean, you would think that somebody who is in such a rough spot would try and calm things down a little bit, but Audrey is the complete opposite. She is just ramping it up even more, trying to create just as much chaos as possible by voting the wrong way once again. So, 2 weeks in a row with a hinky vote. Do you think that's a good move, or is it at this point does she have nothing to lose? What's your take on that, Sarah?
I think it's the nothing to lose thing, and I think honestly it's not the worst strategy to play with. Once you're out there as kind of being a wild card, it's almost the Godfrey game. Like people before the live feeds were on, what people didn't see was that Godfrey talked mad game, like was all over the place to everybody, in every single person's ear. Pretty much what Audrey's doing right now. And then he just went to sleep for like a week, and then he'd be back up. And Audrey's kind of doing that. After she freaks out, and this is the key to Big Brother, she has this she can sense when people are aggravated with her. She knows when to shut down, and she knows when to apologize. And so it doesn't really matter what you get yourself into. If you can go and you can humble yourself and you can cry for forgiveness like she's been, I have nobody and I'm sorry, you know, almost the crazier and more out there you put yourself, you're on this island, so you might as well just keep paddling and paddling out there as far as I'm concerned. More chaos, the better. She's already put herself out there. Just make yourself the least desirable person in the house, and then people will think, oh, we can deal with her later, or that's the person I want to take to Final 2, or...
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that I do actually kind of like the Godfrey comparison, and you're right. Yeah, before the live feeds, nobody really knows this, but Godfrey was all over the place.
Yeah.
You know, if the first night he came up to me and he said, yo, man, I got an alliance right here, yo. It's me, you, Bruno, Greg, Sarah, Britt, and Zach, yo. And we are going to go to the end, yo. That's it. Right here, right now. It's done. Game is over right now.
And then soon after, it was Bobby and Ashley and Peely, and you could literally see him go from you to someone else and just add another person on the list. And that's what Audrey is doing right now. I think it's a scare, like you're in there, you're scared, you just want the numbers, so you kind of just keep adding people on there. But as things settle out, hopefully she'll be left with 1 or 2 people. It's just the way things settle out, because they'll need people, you know? Someone like Jason shouldn't be counting out Audrey right now, you know? He's going to need her, so...
Yes, and that's a thing is, like, right now, if Audrey can survive, if she can manage to get through this week, and if the house ends up into a divide, Audrey could become very valuable in this game, and all of a sudden, I mean, she's back in the driver's seat and she's good to go. So I'm very excited to watch her play. She's been so fun to watch on the live feeds, just all over the place, especially that first week. Calmed down a little bit this past week, which is a good sign. We'll see what happens this week, what she does with our new HOHs, Vanessa and Austin. Now, I'm super excited. This is gonna be a pivotal week. There's gonna be some cool things happening. Last season we had a similar HOH competition that was just basically a crapshoot. The great Derek Levasseur wins that one, and it helps. You know, it gets rid of Devin, one of the biggest targets in the house at that point, and that helps propel him towards the end. So
he didn't want to win that, did he?
No, Derek did not want to win it. He just threw it and he accidentally won. But it worked out great for him. I mean, again, he built these relationships and it helped him out. So it's going to be interesting to see if Vanessa and Austin together can build some of these relationships themselves this week that can set them up for the long run of this game. But for now, there's stuff we got to talk about on the live feeds. There's questions, all that stuff. I just want everything to be fair game. So I'm going to hit the spoiler alarm. I don't have a fancy buzzer like Rob, so spoilers. There we go. We're going to be talking about spoilers, everything on the live feed. So if you do not want to hear any spoilers, you can join us again after the Sunday night episode. We are going to talk about the nominees, and I believe the Battle of the Block competition is happening as we speak. So before the end of this show happens, we might know who the winner of that is. So Austin is one of your HOHs. He nominates this week Jason and Meg, while Vanessa has nominated James and Johnny Mac, the Rockstar Dentist. Now, Vanessa and Austin are working together. They have a consensus. They want to go after Jeff or James this week. Now, Vanessa has gone around telling people that she wants to backdoor Audrey, which is not true.
Right.
Jeff and James.
Same thing as last week. It's the cover story.
It's the cover story. She's asking Johnny Mac to throw the Battle of the Block again, Sarah. Again. What is up with this throwing the Battle of the Block? Do you think that Johnny Mac should listen to them and go ahead with this, or no? And also, what does he have to do to get himself out of this position? Because Johnny Mac is our homeboy. We do not like this.
Johnny Mac. No, we don't. And unfortunately, he set the precedent now. If he doesn't value his own game and his own safety, he did it once. Why wouldn't you do it again then, Johnny Mac, right? He set that precedence of, like, trust, reciprocity, and now he's going to have to keep following through if they ask him for that, which sucks. Until he gets in that position of power, then maybe he can ask someone like Clay to throw a competition for him and then give the old 1-2 to Clay. But
someone tells me Clay's not going to go for that.
Well, and that's the thing. And these type of situations are very interesting. It reminded me of actually when they asked him to keep himself on the block. It kind of reminded me of when me and Johnny were on the block and we played game, set, match. I could tell you and Zach were really not so pleased with me staying in the game. Like, I could tell that's not exactly the perfect situation for what would have happened.
In the competition.
In the competition, yes. Right? Because Zach would have probably gone up as a replacement.
Yes.
So that was a huge indicator to me, in this same situation. Johnny Mac should know that, Clay cares zero for Johnny's Mac's game, has no he has no emotional investments in Johnny Mac, and so it's good. It's a good thing for Johnny Mac, really, to see, because it's not like they wouldn't have put him up there anyway, and he might have lost the battle of the block anyway. Probably would have with his situation with Devon there. So at least you're pretending like you're doing it, for the good of the house or for the sake of the team or whatever. So I think that's what he has to keep doing until the power swaps sometimes here.
So you don't think there's anything he can do? There's nothing. He's just got to roll with the punches and just go with it. Because honestly, I don't know. Like, what does he do? Does he win? He's got to win an HOH, I guess, right?
Or
one of these vetoes.
I mean, it sucks. I'm kind of shocked by these nominations. It seems like I was gonna say, like, until the other side of the house gets power, but that's kind of this week. I mean,
yeah. Well, actually, yeah. Now that you brought that up, Sarah, there's been some alliances that have been made overnight that potentially are going to shift this game. It is something that I want to ask you about.
I don't know. I don't know if I.
So yeah, I got them. It's okay. So last night we had a new alliance formed called the Sixth Sense. Okay, and that alliance consists of Clay, Shelly, Austin, Vanessa, Liz, and Julia. So that is a new power alliance in the game. And also, Vanessa and Austin cover their bases a little bit more. They have another alliance called Freaks and Geeks, which consists of Vanessa, Austin, Liz, Julia, and Steve Moses, my homeboy. So really what's going to happen here, I believe, this week is the Sixth Sense is going to take a shot at the After Dark crew, which is the alliance of Jeff, Meg, James, and Jason. Yes. Right. So this isn't so right now. It looks like Jeff is going to be the target. They're going to want to try and backdoor him this week. So let's say hypothetically Jeff goes home. We could be in a scenario, if this Sixth Sense alliance stays together, we could be in a detonators type of scenario in which these guys just steamroll the entire house. What do you think about that, right? Like, am I right about this? Is that what you're thinking?
Oh, yeah, they would sweep it for sure. But I don't know. Is that where the loyalties actually lie? It's hard to tell at this point. And these people seem very, I mean, we say this with everyone, they seem very emotional, and people are emotional people. We can only go based on that gut feeling that we have, that we don't trust someone. So something's bound to happen there. I don't know how long. It's interesting because it's a group of 6 with 3 couples, right? Like coupled off, kind of.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's certain people in that group who are sitting much more comfortable than others, though. And as soon as the others realize that, the Liz, Julia, Austin probably, they might break off and get the fragments, do the own thing. Hopefully that would be good. I want to see our Johnny Mac, Steve, our people, the Scragglers right now. I want to see them stay along and band together. And
yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be interesting to watch. Part of me is rooting because part of me feels like it's this group of pairs. It's almost like a diaper alliance, if you will. Mm-hmm. And these guys are all together. And if they do stay loyal, they could be incredibly powerful. The thing is that a lot of alliances have been formed this season already. It's almost like, again, Big Brother Canada 3 alliances all over the place all the time, and it could just be one of these situations in which it's convenient for Clay and Shelley to hop on board because Vanessa and Austin just happen to be HOH.
Absolutely.
But if they do leverage this into helping them long term, it could be very helpful for them. If they get rid of Jeff, I mean, who on that other side really scares you this week? Nobody, right? I mean, a lot of these competitions are crapshoots, but at the same time, I mean, who's like James? I mean, like who?
No, who does James have? Right?
Well, I mean, he'll have, I guess, Meg, I mean, the thing I guess what would be interesting to watch would be if they picked up Audrey again. But I mean, Audrey is just such, I mean, she's just so radioactive. People just don't want to touch her and don't want to deal with her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, I mean, as a player, I mean, it's scary to work with her at this point. They don't know if they can trust her. I mean, and she's already got this other sleeper cell alliance with Clay, Shelley, Vanessa, and Austin, which is fake, I believe, on their part. But so. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I really do hope that there isn't this just huge, powerful alliance, and they just throw up the same people each and every week, and they have people asking Johnny Mac to throw the Battle of the Block all the time because then the Battle of the Block twist is broken. And I think that when Alison Grodner first came up with this twist, I don't think that's what she envisioned was people every single week, the same people going up and the same people throwing it, and it's just ends up being a backdoor every week. I mean. I don't want to see that, but that's the problem with
the battle. Exactly. I mean, people, you want to say, don't make the safe moves, put up people, it's a game, but people are going to make the safe moves. They're going to put up the weaker people. They're going to put up the same people every week. When you have to put up 4 people, I mean, and so, like with vetoes too, I mean, 5 different people could be potentially targets every week. It makes it really hard to keep the bonds. But I don't think that the big alliance will sweep through. I think these people are too emotionally driven, and I like that they're all forming these pairs. I think those make the best seasons when you have a bunch of pairs. Then you can swap numbers. You can move things around a little bit. I hate those big alliances.
Yeah. The big alliances. I don't think anybody really loves those big alliances. I'm with you. I think towards the second half of the game, fine. But right now, or I mean, if you have some, for me selfishly, I mean, as a huge super fan, watching the Silent Six, a big huge alliance that included Mike Boogie, Brittany Haynes, and Dan Giesling. That was just like a super fan's wet dream seeing something like that. But just on a regular season watching it, it's just like you don't really want to see that.
You have to do it right. Like they were secret about it, right? And their alliance wasn't in sync with who they like to hang out with. When it comes to a situation where you're seeing Austin and the twins and Vanessa and Clay and Shelley, those people just like each other better. And that's bogus. And I hate to see that in Big Brother. Don't just get with your buddies and say.
I know. You're talking to you're preaching to the choir, Sarah. Yeah, I'm a victim of falling to that curse. It happens. It's hard though, right? I mean, it's so tough. It's so tough, and it's to keep a level head and just to be thinking, okay, what's best for my game and how do I feel personally? And yeah, it's tough when you build these bonds. These people. You don't want to get rid of them. It's so hard. And I mean, that was the same with me and you, but you just didn't happen to love those other people that I loved. So, it just didn't really work out. But
well, no, it's you love everybody, right? You have to go in and that was my thing, right? Dr. Will, I think he won a season because he went in there and he was like, I'm going to hate everybody, right? I knew I couldn't do that. I could try to love everybody the same though, right? And I think that's it, is you have to push yourself out of your comfort zone and say, I love hanging out with Jordan. Me and you could just sit there for 4 hours and just blah, 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 blah. But we made sure to push ourselves out. We didn't do the best job. I mean, we were kind of obvious. But
no, but I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's a little bit, because when you would, I mean, I'm trying to think, you talked with everybody. I also talked with everybody.
You and Godfrey, you and Bruno, you and Bobby. You were always constantly just making sure that you knew where these people were coming from, and made it clear, people can say, oh yeah, Jordan and Sarah are friends, so they're obviously working together, but there's a fine line. I think we both made it obvious that we were always open to other things, right? So if these people, if Clay and Shelley, like, they're not doing a very good job right now. They're completely isolating themselves. They're up in the HOH room alone all the time, whispering, and and now Vanessa and Austin are kind of ostracizing themselves with the twins, and it's like you just have to get over that and mingle with everybody and really keep yourself open. It's like dating.
It's like dating. It is. It is.
Right?
Got to keep yourself open.
You
You don't want to lock yourself in your room all the time and like not talk to anybody and isolate yourself. And you don't want to be too clingy and stay in the same room and just cuddle all day. No, that's not good. Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants that.
It's a very good analogy, Sarah.
Yeah.
No, that's a thing, and I think the being in the HOH room thing, for people like us who have watched so much Big Brother, I think it's a very obvious thing. But when you put in these Shelleys, these Clays, these people who haven't been watching this show for their entire lives, they don't really, it's easy for them to forget about that, and that's one of the easiest mistakes to fix. Really is. Just, let people hang out in your HOH room. Go down and sleep in the bedroom. Hang out with everybody. Don't, lock it and all do that stuff. And it's just not good for your game because guess what? HOH only lasts for 7 days and then you're out of there. For some people, less than
with
that.
the rest of the crew,
So.
But to be fair, Jordan, Clay is a super fan.
He is a super fan.
He took those 4 months and he became a super fan, Jordan.
Yes, he watched every single season 3 times in 4 months, and he strictly only watched those episodes of Big Brother because he was genuinely interested in watching the show and wanted to see it. He was not asked to watch those at all.
No, and it had nothing to do with him being on the show or anything. He just developed this passion in 4 months. No,
and hey, that happens, right? I mean, we all have passions. I just recently developed a passion for putting Rubik's Cubes together, and hey.
You're a super fan.
It happens. I'm a super fan of Rubik's Cubes. It happens.
And you're right, though. It's easily fixed. I was thinking the other day, if I could do it again, I literally would time out the day. I would ration off an hour for every single person in the day. Like, I would be that scientific and calculated about it. That's what you have to do right from the start. It seems easy and obvious, but it's really not. You will just gravitate to the people who you're more comfortable with, the type of people you hang around in real life, and that won't be good for your game. So literally divide it up. Be like, I've spent an hour with Godfrey. Now it's time for me to go on to Bruno. Spend an hour with Bruno.
Wow. Well, I don't think you would be spending an hour with Bruno, though, would you, Sarah?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I would make it work. I'd set the timer. Then it'd be like, ding, ding, ding. I'd be like, all right.
I love Bruno. I love talking to Bruno. Bruno's great. We love Bruno.
No, we didn't.
But
he was quiet in the house, though. He was really quiet in the house. He played really good. He was very tight-lipped, so.
Yeah, and he was good at that, too, is he would just sit back and he would ask questions, and he'd be like, yo, bud, what's your sister's name again? And he would just, go talk for, an hour about that. And that is, honestly, Sarah, that's something that I tried doing when I was in there as well. That's something, I mean, not really, because I didn't do too well in the game, but that's something that is, it's a great point. I didn't quite succeed at an hour every day, but it's one thing for those future Big Brother players out there. Take the time to talk to everybody every day. It's not hard. Just have a little bit of a conversation. Get to know people, because if you don't, I mean, it's just like, why? You're there all day. You only have each other. What else do you have to do, right? I mean, you don't have to go run errands. You don't have to go to the store and buy groceries. No, Big Brother takes care of that for you, y'all. So I know, right? Just talk it out. Have a chill time. I really don't get that. But hey,
and a week will go by before you know it, and then all of a sudden, I haven't talked to Peely in a week. Right? and then Peely wins HOH, and you're like, darn it, right? And you have to go back, and by then it's too late. It's like when you don't call your grandmother for a certain amount of time, and then you're just so stressed out to pick up the phone. Just get it over with. Make sure you're staying in contact with everybody.
Just like calling your grandmother. That's that's true. Straight up, it's true. And then right before Christmas, you're like, oh man, I gotta make sure I get a good present from Grandma.
Yeah, exactly. She knows what's up.
Hey Grandma, so how are you doing? Could you please get me Saved by the Bell, the complete box set this year for Christmas? Thank you very much. Okay, bye. See you later. Hang up, and then there you go. And then you get it. That's what I used to do as a kid. I think that's the move.
I think that is the move. By the way, do not ask your grandmother for that for you for Christmas this year, because
Because why?
Because I might be on that.
Oh, okay. Well, I think there's more than one Saved by the Bell box set DVD out there on eBay, Sarah. So
you need them all.
You need them all. All right, I'm just gonna buy all of them. That's what we're gonna do. Saved by the Bell. Love me some Zachary Morris. Oh, so good, so good.
Yeah.
That honestly, and sorry for going off on a tangent, but that's what our alliance shouldn't have been. Jason and Danielle. It should have just been Bayside. That should have been
Bayside.
Bayside. That's what our alliance should have been. That would have been great. And then all my alliances would have been based off of TV shows and movies and Pampers. So it would have been really good. Okay, so I've got a couple questions for you here, Sarah. So, actually, no, one thing before the questions. There's one thing I forgot to talk about, and that is this whole Jeff Liz controversy. Have you read up on this? Have you heard about this, Sarah? The whole masturbation game?
Yes, I have.
Yes. So I had at Not My Tempo 22 says
Not My Tempo, what up?
Yes, it says we need a Sarah Hanlon takeover for some of these gross guys in the house. What's your take on the Jeff situation?
I love that opinion. Oh, I'd give Jeff a what too. That's completely inappropriate. I'm surprised Big Brother didn't get involved. I think that's on the boundaries of getting kicked out, isn't it? Isn't that kind of like?
Well, I mean, it's hard because, I mean, if you're going to kick out Jeff, that's obviously it's disgusting. It's inexcusable. I mean, in real life, if somebody did that to you, you would slap them or beat, if I remember, I saw
Evil. You could charge them, no?
You could, yeah. And I saw Evil Dick tweet today that he said he would punch that person, he would punch Jeff in the face if he did that to him in real life. So, straight up. And in the house, you don't want to react a lot of times because you don't want to piss people off. You don't want to get mad for your own game, and especially in Liz's situation, she's just been exposed as these twins. She's already got a big enough target on her back for that. She doesn't want to flip out on Jeff for that,
and that's why it's messed up. In a situation where you can't defend yourself, like in the Caleb Amber thing that we saw, I felt so bad for her because she's in a situation where she can't do what she would normally do in the outside world to defend herself and say, listen, relax, or stop, or leave me alone, I'm not interested in you. Or in this case, a one upside the head, or just ignoring forever, or, I would lose my mind. If that Bruno fight would look like a kindergarten teacher talking to their class. I swear, in comparison to what I would have to say for Jeff for that. Even if it happened to someone else and I found out, I would lose it on that guy. And yeah, that would put me in jeopardy, and that's not fair. So someone should, do something. They should have stepped in. They should do something about that. That's messed up.
Yeah, and that's honestly, that's the beauty of your game, Sarah, is that you managed to go through 75 days or whatever, 70 days, whatever it was, and you would just speak your mind. It didn't matter. You would speak up, and you know what? It's like you were who you were, and you still won the game. So honestly, as much as these people are scared to step up and say something, the problem is that it's this groupthink mentality.
Right.
Everybody's scared.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to step up and say anything. But if one person stood up and said something, everybody would be on board 100% because everybody's on the same page with something like that.
Right, exactly.
So, it's not worth it to just sit there and there was a few times in the house, for me when I didn't say something when certain things were happening when I wish I should have, because at the end of the day, is that really going to cost you your game?
Right.
Not really.
There were times when I thought to myself, why did I get in that conversation about people with different abilities or sexuality, or why did I give so-and-so a hard time about talking about big dongs or whatever. I'd be like, Sarah, relax. Let people talk about what they want to talk about. But it's hard. You want to go in, you want to underplay yourself, but at the same time, that there's people out there watching you, and they want you to be yourself. And I just kept thinking of the people who would be upset at me if I didn't call certain things out. And there's a way to do it, too. You try not to, even in a situation like this, I think you got to be like, why, dude? Not make the guy feel like the worst, most disgusting person in the world, but just be like, why that's inappropriate. These are my boundaries. We're all our own people. There's ways to do it, and you're right. I think someone should say something. But this, in this situation, is it confirmed that that's what's happening? And does anybody know except for us?
Well, yeah, I don't know because it was just it was just Jeff and Liz in the room. So
And she
yeah,
had
I
the
don't.
blindfold on.
Yeah, so I don't really know. Although she was walking, she had the stain on her back and all that stuff. So I don't know. And Jeff was joking about it. I'm not 100% sure if anyone else knows. So in
Oh,
that scenario, yeah, it's just disgusting. And I mean, he's a like Jeff. What are you doing, man? And
that's just
seriously,
awful.
he's a pig. And I mean, it's like, why? I mean, I'm sure he's deep down. I'm sure Jeff's a nice dude, but like, what are you thinking, man? Like, not a good decision. And I think that I don't know what Big Brother can do in that scenario, but I totally agree with what you're saying. I think there's a difference between, you know, when Greg and Johnny are discussing the origins of HIV and and they're explaining, you know, what their beliefs are on that. That's one thing. If you want to step them on that, you don't really need to get involved in that thing because it's not really harming anyone per se.
Right.
But like these conversations, this whole thing, when it's like somebody is getting, you know, sexually harassed, like
That's what this is.
yeah,
And
it's awful.
And she has to, like, they have to sleep with him. They have to be comfortable enough to be unconscious in the same room as this person and know, like, things could happen. Like, Big Brother is always watching, but things could happen very quickly, and then it's too late, you know? Even something like this, once she finds out what's happened, I'm sure she'll feel very, like, infringed upon and, like, trespassed. And, like, it's just, it's such a shame because I'm sure that's what people's minds go to when they think of Big Brother, when they think of people being locked in a house together. And we were so well taken care of, and so I felt so safe and protected, and I couldn't imagine playing the game and not feeling that way. So it's terrible. I feel so bad. And like, let's just vote Jeff out so we don't have to think about it anymore. Can we?
Well, honestly, yeah. I mean, hopefully that is the way things go this week. Just let's get Jeff out of there, and then you know, Liz doesn't have to worry about that anymore, and nobody has to because I mean, this isn't the first time. Jess made some other comments too that are misogynistic, and we don't need to get into it, but it's just unfortunate watching that, and you just. But that's the problem. I mean, I understand why. I'm not gonna rip Jeff to shreds. It happens. You're in there. People are in. You know, you're locked away for however many days from society. You're being filmed 24/7. You're gonna do some really stupid things. To Jeff, I think it's just ignorance on his part.
And he doesn't realize how scary that would be to be in that situation. Yeah. Yeah.
So I just think he's ignorant. I don't think it has anything to do with him as a person. I think that he doesn't get it, and I think that, you know, it's unfortunate and it's sad, and I think hopefully after this experience he'll be enlightened. But just don't like it, ugly, gross. Okay. So we're gonna take some questions right now. So if you want to tweet your questions to us using the hashtag RHAP, or if you want to comment on YouTube, you can do that as well. And because we're an interactive show, and that's what we're doing. So the first question here is from John Clark, and he says, "Question for Sarah: who's more creepy, James, Jeff, or Clowney at the 100 Minutes of Hell HOH comp?"
I think after all we've been discussed, Jeff's taken that #1 role there. I mean, Clowney was creepy, but come on.
I know, right? Like, I never quite saw Clowney, so I don't really know, like, how scary he was in person. He looked really scary, though. Like, it was almost like, to me, he was like Clowney, Aaron Grease's doll from BB-15, personified as a human. That's what he was, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what he was, yeah. And he had all the charm.
Oh, Clowney. Oh, Clowney.
And he whispered in my ear, "Sarah." And it was the creepiest thing that ever happened. But I think if Jeff did that, I would lose my mind. So 100 minutes, 50 minutes, whatever, I would have been up and out of that booth.
Oh my gosh. I would love next year for a twist to be Godfrey dressing up as the clown during that competition. Be like, "Yo, it's me, Godfrey, yo. You want some chicken feet with that, yo?"
Yo. Boo.
Oh, I love me some Godfrey Manguiza. Okay.
Oh, me too.
He's awesome. Soren Crane wants to know, with each week's twist not seriously affecting the game, is the show better off having no twists at all? Now, this is a great question. Sarah, what do you think about this?
Yeah, it is. It's hard. You gotta make the twist. Set up the twist so it's going to do something. I was talking to Peter and Alec on their Shield show, and we were talking about, like, more creative kind of twists. As Survivor fans, I think you'll like this, Jordan. I was thinking luxury competitions, right? Like reward challenges.
Okay, okay.
Right?
Well, the luxury competition used to be a thing in Big Brother way back when.
Exactly. Bring
So
that back. Make you not maybe not outside of the house, but bring them maybe just like to a different sound stage or they're in the HOH room for 2 days and they just get pampered or something like that, you know. Remember what was it? Races. Which one Survivor was that?
Cook Islands.
Cook Islands, you know, one of my favorites. They
Yes.
went on a reward where they bonded so much for people that alliance made it to the end. And I think things like that in Big Brother, like if me and you and Bruno and Bobby were in a room for 2 days, who knows how that would have shaken up the game? You know what I mean? So just give some people, or like how they do, I think they've done it in UK or Australia where it's like half the house is actually like have-nots and haves. So like some people are only allowed in certain rooms. These type of twists, I think that will affect the gameplay more than something like knowing 3 votes, and it's more interesting and in a more organic way, you know.
Yeah, no, this the I24. I haven't heard a shout out for them in a while from Survivor Cook Islands, but that's a very very good blast from the past, Sarah. But yeah, I agree. I think something a little different. Like I'm trying. Yeah, I don't know. I guess like splitting the house in half. Yeah, I've seen that before. But bringing up the have-nots thing, what do you think about have-nots? Because someone else was asking this on Twitter earlier, and I apologize. I'm sorry, I forgot. I didn't write down your name. But what do you think about this week? We have Rob Gronkowski of the New England Patriots, tight end, who Johnny Colatrulio was very fond of. What do you think about this twist that there are no have-nots for the week? Do you like should we just abolish have-nots altogether? Because I think that the reason why we have this Battle of the Block competition is because Big Brother is looking for something with high stakes on the Sunday show. They don't like the have-not comp, which really, I mean, for those of us who watch the feeds, I mean, nobody really cares about watching the have-not comp that often. I mean, let's be honest. Do you think that they should do that, or do you think that perhaps maybe, yeah, like a twist in which half the house is always a have-not and half the house is always a have, and then there's certain advantages of being a have-not, and you can like go back and forth. Like, what do you think about that? Would that be more interesting to you?
You got to keep the have-not thing, because even as much as an audience member, I guess what they need to do is figure out a way to convey to the audience just how traumatic to your game being a have-not can be.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think make it more like they have to spend time in certain areas of the house. Like there's maybe only one common room, but other than that, the have-nots and the haves are separated more. I mean, in terms of just the food thing, that creates a little bit of a drama, but if the house was really divided, I think you would see a lot more alliances forming based on the have-nots. And I don't think there should be any cons. I think the HOA should always pick.
Okay, yeah, that would be interesting if they did that. And actually, this concept that you're describing is actually there was a reality TV show that RHAP fans are familiar with called Opposite Worlds a few years ago. I think it was like 2013, and they sort of did this. It kind of flopped because it wasn't Big Brother, and it was on, I can't even remember what channel it was on. I think maybe it was on like Space Network or something. It was like something like very obscure. But for whatever reason, Rob decided to cover it, and in that show, it was kind of interesting. Like people would bond because they were in, there was this really futuristic side of the house, and then there was this caveman side of the house, and then that side, they had to like work for their food and like go to the bathroom and that kind of stuff, and people really created these strong bonds as a result of that. So yeah, something along these lines. We got to shake it up somehow. But yeah, I'm not really quite sure what that is. I need to sit down and like brainstorm one day, and then I'll send Alison Grodner some fan mail, and hopefully we'll do that. We'll send her some fan mail, and then maybe she'll figure something out.
I'm sure she's just waiting.
She
for our opinions.
She is waiting for the 12th place winner or finisher in Big Brother Canada 3's letter. Yes, Alison Grodner. Desperately waiting for me. Okay, Absolute Zero with a 3 asks, if Audrey goes home this week, will the show suddenly become more boring like it did after Devin left in BB16? Great question. Sarah, what's your take on that?
Probably. To be honest, probably. If Audrey goes again, it means we're playing this house kind of game, and it probably will just be unanimous votes throughout the whole thing. she's the safe move right now. She's the good cover story for everyone. But at the same time, without that cover story gone, maybe people will actually start having to, like in our season, we use this a lot. Godfrey was kind of targeted initially early on by even like Greg, right?
Yes.
So Godfrey was always kind of an easy scapegoat for everybody, right? Like, I would go to Willow and say, oh, Willow, who don't you trust? And she would say Godfrey. And I'd say, oh, yeah, I don't trust Godfrey either, right? I go
to you don't trust me, yo?
Right? Who don't you trust, Peely? Godfrey. It was just like the easy answer for everybody. And right now I feel like that's Audrey in the house, right? So right now they can all kind of hide their games, not really talk any game, and, oh, we don't trust Audrey. We got to get Audrey out. So maybe if she left, the game talk has to go somewhere from there.
Yeah, I think. I hope that she stays. I hope Jeff is the one that goes home this week, because then we have a line drawn in the sand. This after dark crew, maybe they can pick up Becky and Johnny Mac, and they can go to war with the other side of the house, and we can see these guys go head to head, and then Audrey will just be sitting right in the middle, floating between both sides. Nobody knows what she's saying. I think that would be a excellent thing to watch. It would make some great television, and then it would be exciting, because the last two seasons of Big Brother, I think at the end of the day, 15 and 16, have been a little predictable towards the end, because we've lacked some of these characters at certain points.
Right.
So it would be good to see that, and then we'd have a really exciting season, something that we really haven't seen since Big Brother 10, which I would die to see. So far, so good. I'm just hoping that it can keep up to the level that it's been at so far, because after we lost Devin last year, just straight downhill. I mean, for me, Derek played a great game, but Devin.
And this is what I always think of with that season too. Think about had Derek not won that season, how bad of a season it would have been. Right?
Yes. And I think that's a big thing, is when you look at a season, you look back at the winner, and if the winner isn't the greatest, if the winner's great, it's going to make a huge difference, I think, for the season. And I think that, I think Derek, he played a phenomenal game, and I think that's why people remember 16. It's like, oh, yeah, 16, it was good. But in reality, if you think about 16, it's probably towards, the lower tier of seasons.
It was very... Yeah, like you're saying, at a certain point, you saw what was happening, because it was so calculated and it was so controlled, and the big alliance thing kind of worked out, because Derek, was on top of everybody so much. So, Team
America, exactly.
There had been some slip up, some weird thing, and Derek goes out fourth, it ruins the whole storyline, the whole trajectory of the show then, right? And then you have someone playing from maybe 3 weeks on, and you can say they deserved it for that, but when someone else has controlled the whole rest of the show up till there, I was so happy he won.
Yeah, could you imagine if Derek didn't win that season?
Ooh, then it's like the most predictable laid out season for him, and then an upset at the end. I think, it just would have been too much.
Yeah, it would have been exciting on finale night, but I think looking back, I'm glad Derek Levasseur is the winner of Big Brother 16, and I'm glad we're gonna have a chance, hopefully, to see him play again someday, because I would love to see him play with some All-Stars. It would be very fun. Yeah. Maybe an Audrey, maybe a Devin, maybe some people from this season. We'll see what happens. But whenever that day comes, that All-Star season is going to be very fun to watch.
You need the North American All-Star season.
Could you imagine, Sarah?
No.
North American All-Stars?
I would die.
I literally would pass out. I would literally pass out. I would be so happy, and just because I know I could sit home and I could podcast about it and be great, and it would be so tough though, because who do I root for? Do I root for you, who's one of my good friends, or do I root for Dr. Will, who's one of my heroes? It's so hard, right?
Oh, we know who you'd be rooting for, Jordan Parhar.
I know. It definitely would be Devin. Devin would be who I'd be rooting for. Okay.
You'd be rooting for Chicken George.
Chicken George, yes, Chicken George. Chicken George, Kevin Martin, Devin, and Sarah Hanlon. Okay, totally offside.
Great group of people.
That would be a great group of people. Okay, totally offside says, question for @FlatsHanlon. Do you prefer seeing twists that are overpowered or underpowered? Your own season excluded. #RHAPpy. So, yes, there's been a lot of talk about Big Brother Canada 3, that the twists were too powerful and all this stuff. So we're not going to talk about our season, but just in general, what do you prefer, Sarah? Do you like twists that are like so far this BB Takeover style in which they're not like too powerful, or would you rather see Coup Jeffs in which it's just like super overpowered?
I love it. Honestly, even as a super fan, I love the twists. The Canada's HOH in season 2. I don't think I've ever been so happy watching reality television in my life. What other twist do I love? Any type of power switch, I love that. That's what we want to see from Big Brother. So any type of twist that can actually flip a house, flip the power, switch it up, take what you see is going on this trajectory and flip it the other side. I'm always down for those type of twists. It's part of the game. Big Brother, your loyalties are tested at any time, So sometimes you don't have time to campaign. Sometimes you don't have the control, even if you are HOH. All these things come into play, and I always love it. I love anything unpredictable, anything that's going to switch it up.
Canada's HOH is a great thing that you brought up, Big Brother Canada 2. If you guys haven't seen it, check that out, because that's a twist for me. I'm not a big fan of the huge over-the-top powerful twists. It was in Big Brother 11 just because the Coup de Jeff and everybody just loved Jeff and Jordan and just wanted Jesse and Natalie gone. But otherwise, now playing the game, I realize how hard it is to go through that. But the Canada's HOH, as much as that was brutal for Andrew and Sabrina, and shout out to Andrew James Gordon, super nice dude, met him this past weekend. Something like that I kind of like, because that one, it's not like so overpowered. I mean, they had a chance to win the veto. They had a chance to campaign. But it's hard. It's a very fine line, indeed. But like you said, the twist that in general, that it's just fun to see power shifts. I think that's what everybody likes to see, and I think that's why. I mean, you and Brittany, Big Brother Canada 3, were so rootable this season, just because you guys, started from the bottom. Now you're here.
Well, yeah, we certainly had to dig ourselves up there, and I mean, that's the thing. It would have been anybody in that situation would have gotten that have not power, right? It was anybody who was on the bottom.
Anybody, Sarah?
I think so.
Maybe, let's see. Yeah, I guess not me, but I think everybody.
No, you definitely would. There's no way. Okay, there's no way that Canada is going to give, or America, or whoever, is going to ever give the power move to someone who is not going to use it, right?
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Ashley wins HOH. They're not going to give that to Zach. There's no way, right? Because that's not good TV. And as a super fan, as a fan, I would want to see good TV. I'm just going to give it to somebody who's going to use it. Even if it was a Russell Hantz type character who I despise, I want to see it. You just want to see it getting shaken up. And that's why Big Brother is the line you have to skirt between someone like Dr. Will, right? Everybody roots for Dr. Will. Everybody says he's the biggest mastermind ever. I think Dr. Will could have maneuvered his way through twists. That's the beauty of Dr. Will. He always was constantly in people's ear, and he never relied on having to win a comp or having to campaign at the last minute. He put himself out there as everybody's, obvious target, and he manipulated their minds. I think the twists, I don't think that they throw that off at all. I think they shake it up time-wise, and that's why you have to skirt that line. Dr. Will was always the most powerful player in the house, but he never appeared to be, right? And that is the key to Big Brother. Exactly. So that's the line you have to walk. And if you're not on either end and you are somewhere in the middle, then it doesn't matter what twist you're going to get thrown with, because your bases are covered. You've been talking game to everybody. Your relationships are solid. So Julie could walk in the door and say, 3 of you are coming with me right now, and the people who are playing the best social game are not going to leave. Yeah, straight. No, that's a very good point, Sarah. Very good point. So intelligent, Sarah Hanlon. I've been doing a lot of thinking about it. But no, it's a very good point. I do like it. I wish, I initially I asked our good pal Bruno Aiello to come onto this show as well, so you guys could go head to head once again. Yeah, I'd love to. He had prior commitments, but that would have been. I wish we could have debated on this, because I know he feels a lot differently about this. Right. This would have been really good. Yes. Would have been very good. Would have been very good. Okay. Justin Brereton says, Evil Dick has been very vocal that everyone should be trying to get the twins out. Is he right? Bear in mind, he also said Sarah had a 0.0% chance of winning. Evil Dick! Gotcha, buddy. Nothing makes me happier than proving Evil Dick wrong. I think in this case, I think Jeff and Jackie are the bigger threat. But yeah, I mean, everybody but maybe Austin should be trying to get the twins out. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we'll agree to disagree. I would keep them just because, again, though, like I would approach it as an Austin type of scenario in which I'm
exactly
with them,
you,
right?
and
So
you
it depends. It depends. Yeah, it depends on who you are.
You like people like I don't know if this reads through the season, but you very much were everybody. Everybody felt so comfortable and so like you were on their team. So I think you could fool these twins instantly, and but I think you'd be having either twin taking you to the end, Parhar. So
not quite, Sarah. Thank you. I'm flattered.
In certain situations, someone like me, I don't think keeping the twins around would ever benefit me. Keeping both twins around, keeping two numbers that are. I mean, I'm trying to play their game. I'm trying to be non-threatening. Then there's three of us that are just like non-threatening goofballs hanging around. I don't know. You know.
No, but that's Sarah. That's a thing, and I think that's something people need to consider when you go on Big Brother. If you are this, unthreatening type of person, you need to get rid of the other unthreatening type of people, not the big, huge physical people, because otherwise, like once you're locked in that role, people are not going to want to get rid of you.
Right.
And you did an excellent job of that season. That's somewhere where I faltered was that honestly, you're on the block against Johnny Colatrulio. I should probably send you home because you and I are kind of trying to do the exact same thing. But because you're so good at making personal relationships, and I loved you, and I still do love you, I kept you around. And so that's the thing. It's just it's something to always keep in mind. If you do ever play this game and you are a super fan, you probably are like Sarah and I. You're probably a smaller person. You're probably nerdy. You're probably goofy. Get rid of the other nerdy, small, goofy people. Keep around the big threats because they're not going to be worried about you. They're going to be worried about the other big threats.
Right,
so
exactly.
something to keep in
mind.
mind.
You have to assess your own strengths and weaknesses and get rid of people who have other strengths and weaknesses that are similar to yours.
Yes, exactly. And that's something that I don't think a lot of people, I think the strong physical people always think about that. You always have the physical guys going head to head, but you don't usually have the smaller people going head to head. They're always like, no, I got to get the big fish, like a Davon. I got to go get Clay. No, Davon, you don't got to worry about Clay. You should be worrying about, I'm trying to think. Jason was working with, but you should be worrying about like Meg, those types of people.
Yeah, absolutely. At a certain point, Peely was my biggest threat.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, Peely's like the perfect, like no one's going to take me over Peely, so what am I going to do here? Because that was my move. I wanted to be the Peely, right? And Godfrey thought the same way, right? Like at a certain point, we were all, raced to the bottom of the barrel. We were all, I'm the worst, so you can't.
No, that's a thing. You got to always keep that in mind. And it's hard when you're in there because it's easy to get caught up in the mentality of big threat.
Oh, yeah, and you're terrified. And those competitions are terrifying. And you don't want to be just bulldozed by everybody. And so that's another thing, too.
Yes, and especially because, you're in one of these Final 4 HOH comps, or, Final 5. It's like me and you, and we're next to Zach, Bobby, and Kevin, or Greg, or something. We're screwed.
Goodbye!
We got no chance.
Yeah, no chance at all. Right.
Yeah. So it's something. It's tough. It's a fine line to walk. Okay. Andrew Kirk wants to know, Jordan, who would you be, Sarah? Okay. Who would you be Sarah's Brittany if she was in the BB17 house? #RHAPpy. Okay. So who would your I guess Sarah, the way, I don't really know how that was phrased, Andrew, apologies, but I think he wants to know, like, who would be Sarah, who would be your Brittany if you were in the BB17 house?
I think Day would have been my Neha. I think that's quite obvious.
And they went out at the same point, so there you go.
And my Brittany, who would be my ride or die? Maybe a Meg. Maybe someone like Meg or Liz. Liz talks a little bit of game. I don't know. I don't think there is a Brittany in there, unfortunately. I don't know if any of those women would just cling on, or men. I don't think anybody in there. Maybe Jason would want to be really loyal to me. Maybe me and Jason could make a good pair. But that would be more me and you thing. So I don't know. I don't think there is a Brittany in that house.
No, it's interesting. Like, and this is a question that I have for you. Aligning with Brittany, was it ever in your mind did you think, okay, Brittany's going to be, if we're ever in trouble, Brittany's always going to be the bigger target than I am? Or no, was it just, bam, I got a connection with this girl, and that's why I'm with her? Was that what it was?
It was. I felt comfortable. I felt like I knew the game better than her. Like an alliance like me and you, I always felt like slightly intimidated, slightly like, you know, he could pull one over on me. He knows more than me. I never felt that with Brittany. Like I felt like I always knew more. I always was like having more conversations with her. And she was just, for me, she's so easy to read. You know this, you know Brittany. She's so real, right? Like Brittany maybe is Davon. Maybe Davon would be my Brittany. They are very similar. She's just a real person, and she can't help but be real. So when like in the first couple days, I thought, you know, this girl could never lie to me. There's no way I wouldn't be able to tell. I could quite clearly like pinpoint her routines. I knew who she was talking to. It was all very obvious and open to me that this person was just wanted to play a loyal game. And even watching her preseason interviews, that's what she said, you know, she wanted to go in there, find one person and be loyal to them. And I'm just glad I could pick up that on her.
Yeah, I think if you divide Davon by Neha, I think you get Brittany.
I think you get Brittany. I think you do. I think that's good math.
Yeah.
And then the whole time, too, I just thought if I'm going to be working with this person, I need to be doing more than them. So I just always set myself up as maybe, you know, if I saw Brittany had a conversation with you and Zach, I would have 10 conversations with you and Zach just to cover the bases.
Yes. Yeah. You know what was up, Sarah Hanlon. You know what was up. Okay, at Corey Bananas with a B says, what past house guest would you compare Steve's game to so far? Lighting one up for you, Sarah. Hashtag BB17, hashtag RHAPpy.
Yes, thank you. Oh, I love it. Well, that means the world. Thank you. Steve, what are we thinking about Steve? Who is he like? Obviously, you want to make the obvious comparisons, the Ian Terry.
Yes, of course. The Ian, I think I'm trying to think. Yeah, it's a hard one. I think that you just can't get that Ian out of your head. To me, I just look at it as if Steve is the Ian. He's Ian without Mike Boogie, if that makes sense. So if Mike Boogie wasn't around, I think that is what you would. Ian would be how Steve is right now, and I think there's a chance that Steve, if he's around, if Vanessa, she's formed this alliance with him already called the Students of Sound, the SOS, their own Final Two deal. If those guys stick together, they're around the second half of the game. I mean, who knows? Steve could turn it on. He's already proven he can do well in these competitions. Yeah. So I don't know.
And that's huge for him. That should give him some confidence going in.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just the thing with him is just he's so awkward. He's so awkward, Sarah. He's so awkward.
It's terrible.
It's hard, and really, like, we didn't really experience that in our season. There was nobody that was that awkward. Like, he is just so awkward, and it's hard. It kills me. I love him. I love him so much.
And there's no Meg is like the only one who's really like outgoing enough to like overcome that.
Yes.
You know? Sometimes there's people like in that house. I feel like there's a lot of semi-awkward people, right? So then you throw Steve in a conversation with like Steve and Audrey or Steve and Jeff or Steve and James, and it's just like, ugh, it's like it's too much. But hopefully, like, yeah, if he can stay close to someone like Vanessa, but Vanessa's kind of awkward too. I mean, he needs someone like Meg, just like outgoing and bubbly and just kind of to smooth over all those like little rough glitches that he will inevitably find himself in. It's such a social world in the house, right? Like all you do is talk. So I think those edges will get worked out.
Yeah, I hope so. And I think, it's one of those things. It's going to take him some time. And I think once he's in there longer, the longer you're in there, I mean, the way I looked at it, the longer I was there, the closer I felt to you guys, the easier it was to, just sit back, chill. Well, for me, it was pretty quick. But I think for most people, it takes, especially for someone who's like Steve, who's a little bit awkward, right, a little bit shy, not used to living with, right now, I guess, 13 other people or whatever it is, then it's a little bit tough. But I think that if he just can get some time, if he can just get to, like, jury from there, someone picks him up, wants to go with him deep, anything could happen.
I think so too.
I hope for the best. I hope the best for him because
eventually these people will feel like family to him, and he'll just be more comfortable.
Yeah, I think so. Okay. At Clay Honeycutt 97. I don't know. I guess this is a fan account for Clay. Says Sarah JP, Clay's friend here. Who would you guys align with in the BB17 house? Love you guys. Well, thank you so much, Clay's friend.
We love you.
Clay's friend. We love you. I love Clay by default because I love Zach Olenek, and I do whatever Zach Olenek says. So So Clay, I love you and I love your friend. So thank you for the kind words, Sarah.
So you pretty much do whatever Clay says.
Yeah, so I'll do whatever Clay tells me to do. So if Clay wants me to, if I win the power, if I go on the block and then I throw the battle of the block and then I win the veto, and Clay doesn't want me to win the veto, I guess I'm not really using the veto, am I, Sarah?
No, I don't think you are. And I think if it gets to the end and you're on jury, or pardon me,
No, I'm on jury, yeah, and then Clay'll just he'll vote me out again or something.
or Clay, yeah, exactly. Clay will just tell you how to vote.
Yeah. But then he'll tell me how to vote, and I'll do whatever he says, and it'll be great. And I'll hang around with his girlfriend all the time. I'll hang around with him and Shelly and do whatever they say. It's gonna be lovely. It's gonna be great. Clay, I love you, brother. Texas A&M, go.
Jordan. Clay, we love you.
Yes. Oh, Giga Maggies. All right. Okay. So Sarah, back to, who would you align with? You mentioned Day. Who's left though? Day's gone. You mentioned Meg, Jason.
I love Jason, but they're not. I mean, he's not living up to my expectations. I thought he'd be smoother and more suave, but he's kind of brash, and you can tell that people aren't receptive to him, you know. And so he needs to pick that up and change his angles a little bit. Meg, I'm loving Meg right now. Honestly, she's one of the only ones who I see just. I mean, I want to love Clay. Obviously, the Showmance thing is hard for me. I feel it's not unfair. Nothing in the game is unfair, but it's an easy road. I mean, obviously, Clay's road is a lot easier than other people's. The thing about Big Brother and in real life is, yeah, you're trying to gain respect, but people have to give you respect too, right? You don't just take it. You have to earn it, but people have to be willing to give it to you. Someone like Day, she comes in saying she's a school teacher, a mother, she's going to have a harder time. And that's just the way the world works, and it's just the way the Big Brother house works. Clay walks in, he's gorgeous, he's an athlete, he's Mr. All-American country boy, and people just fall down around him. I mean, so I love Clay's game, and he is playing a smart game. I think it was his smartest move to go after Day, and he made it happen for him. But obviously, I'd like to see it shaken up a little. And I'd like to see him work with some not obvious, we'll use that word, people, right? Like, shake it up. Work with Audrey. Work with Jason. Predictability will come back to bite you in the butt in Big Brother because these things are too obvious. You and Shelly right now are very obvious. So while you're doing a great game now, it will come back to bite you in the butt.
Yeah, and just like Newport, a little too obvious. But you know, I think it's a really good point about Jason. I think that the problem with him is I love Jason, by the way. He's great. But I think the thing that might be turning some people off is how much knowledge he's spewing about Big Brother. And I think a lot of people have tweeted me after the season said, wow, like, oh, JP, you just talk about Big Brother all the time, blah, 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 it hurt your game, all this stuff. And yeah, I probably did. But at the same time, this guy knows so much about Big Brother. It is insane how much Jason knows. And the amount of super fans that were in our house it was honestly everybody was a huge fan of Big Brother that played our season. Not that many on Big Brother 17. So I think that's only going to hurt him. That's only going to hurt him in the game in the long run. So I hope Jason can survive. And right now he's on the block. We're still awaiting the Battle of the Block results. But I really hope that he can do well. In terms of who I would align with, Clay's friend. Well, obviously it would be Clay because I would do whatever he said. But also Steve Moses, I would want to work with him just because I love Steve so much. He's awesome. And another person I would want to work with.
I forgot Steve. I would want to work with Steve.
Great. Yeah, I would want to work with Steve. And Vanessa. Vanessa kind of, she's older, like the way I viewed you, Sarah. She's older, she's wise, she's very calm. Well, although there were some times you weren't so calm, Sarah. Let's be real.
I ain't calm.
Yeah. But no, just likable, like down to earth. Like you're able, very good social skills. Vanessa is somebody who I would probably want to work with as well. And I think that. I think she's got because of that. I think she's got those skills that she has. I think she's got a chance to go very deep in this game.
Yeah, I think I'm not giving Vanessa enough credit. I don't know why. I keep saying there's something I just can't buy into here, but I just don't think I'm giving her enough credit. And I think she's playing the game really well, which means at the beginning you're going to be slightly invisible. So.
Exactly, and that's what you want. That's what you want, to be slightly invisible. You don't want to be, out there in the open on the first few weeks, because, I mean, this is a game, this season, I mean, 97, 98 days, whatever it is. It's a lot of game left to play. It's still, we're still in the 20s in terms of days. So yeah, you don't really want to be in the forefront just quite yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Tony's Llama on Twitter asks, who needs to visit Sarah's place of work the most this season?
Oh, there's a few candidates for sure. Audrey, come on down. I'll hook you up, girl. Sestranino said, if I was able to smoke weed in the Big Brother house, I would be quote unquote unbeatable. And I like that. I think
would have been the
true.
secret weapon. Yeah, it would have been the secret weapon, Sarah. If only you could have. Yeah, that was you. Yeah, you were playing handicapped all season.
It's true. I still was unbeatable.
Still unbeatable. Amazing. So you're saying Audrey. Who else? Anyone else who needs a visit?
Needs a visit?
I think Day after this probably needs a visit
poor
right?
Day. Yeah, Day. Book yourself a flight to Toronto. You'll forget all about it. Yeah.
Dave on, we love you. We love
Johnny
you.
Johnny Mac too. I think Johnny Mac and I would just have fun. So bring Johnny Mac.
Could you imagine Johnny Mac high, a guy who already sounds high in the diary room, what he would sound like?
I think he'd just be silent.
Oh
just
my gosh.
inaudible noises would come from him.
Oh my gosh, that dude is something else. I love Johnny Mac so much. He's great. Okay, Supafacta asks, Sarah, if you were the special guest for a BB takeover, what would your takeover twist be?
Oh, well, maybe that. Maybe I'd just bring doobies in for everybody, and then they'd have to sort the game out. What would my takeover be? Well, I'd just go in and boot out whoever I wanted.
You would do that?
Yeah.
You just got balls and you're just gonna kick out whoever you want?
Yeah, I got ovaries, and I will.
Just be like, all right, so who are you kicking out then? You're kicking out Jeff, obviously.
I'm kicking out Jeff. I'm kicking out. You know what? I won't kick out Clay, but I'll kick out Shelly. I'll kick out.
Why Shelly? Why Shelly? And so, what are you just
This is
gonna?
why I'm mad at Shelly. I'm mad at Shelly because she wanted to get out Audrey, and she listened to Clay. Like, she's just not. She's intense and she's stressed out, and you can tell that by her game talk and her voice. But she's not sticking up for herself enough, and she's not thinking about like her game plan. You know, I didn't like when Clay for a second was mad at Audrey, and she was like, "Oh, perfect, then we can get rid of Audrey." I didn't really want to put anybody else up. And then Clay like changed his mind again. This type of gameplay bothers me, and I understand. And it's not like just a Showmance thing. It's like when you're in an alliance, you want to do what's best for both of you.
Yeah.
But just don't be scared and don't just play into that other person's opinion. And that's why I see Shelly doing that. And if she's already doing it, she's going to keep doing it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I feel bad for Shelly. I don't think she's. I don't think we have a winner on her hands, Sarah. No. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. She's close. Like, I want to see someone. I do want to see a Showmance take it all the way to the end, and I want to see the woman win. I want to see this at some point in Big Brother history. And so I was kind of excited because Shelly was. It's not like with when Clay wanted to go up, she fought him on it. She yelled at him. I like that fire in Shelly, and I see a little bit of that there. But you can already tell, though, that it's kind of the Clay show, and that she's more concerned with his game than her game. And I'm sick of seeing that. I want to see the opposite, and I want to see, a woman kind of run the show between a male-female alliance, and I want to see the woman win at the end.
Yeah, we haven't really ever seen that. So
No.
It would be, Big Brother Canada, we had Julian beat Gary in the final two, but that was kind of by accident, so there's an asterisk next to that.
And would she
there.
Would she have won against Emmett, though? That's the question.
No, I don't think so.
And why not?
Yeah.
They played the same game, and she won more comps than Emmett.
Yeah, so there you go. I think, but how it was viewed and perceived, I think if you look at that, I think that you see Jillian. I mean, yeah, Jillian was a beast. She was amazing, right. But for whatever reason, everybody just views, Emmett is the mastermind. Dan gives him the little renegade band on his chest, his chessboard, all this stuff. So Yeah, but
So
we're all waiting for this day as well, sir. I'm with you. I think I mean we haven't
it's
seen it yet. Something I would love to see for sure. Something
it's
different.
unfair that women have to think about it in the back of their mind, but it is something that we have to think about. Is that the perception there is we do have to, I think, work that little extra bit harder to be seen as crude and cold and manipulatable, right? Like
Yeah.
Ashley, no matter how great of a game she played next to Zach and with Zach and in partnership with Zach, with tandem with Zach, if it was her and Zach in the end, I think we know how the votes would have gone. So
But in fairness, Zach Olenek in final two against anybody, it's game
against
over.
anybody would have killed it.
Game over. Except what I would have liked to see was you against Zach. That would have been a good one, I think.
Where you would have voted for Zach?
Yeah, probably. But it would have been close. It would have been a tight vote, and my vote wouldn't have counted because I would have done whatever Zach said and he voted me out.
Shut up. Stop it. You're killing me.
So no, but I'm with you. I think that it would be super interesting to see one of these showmances get there. I think the type of showmance and type of final two we need to see in order for this to happen would be like an Amanda McRae BB15. If that was the final two, I think that would have been a really, I think it would have been close, but I think, Amanda probably would have taken that one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I love McRae. I would have voted for McRae just because I have a man crush on him, but I think
love McRae.
McRae's great. But I think that, Amanda in that scenario probably walks away as a winner.
Yeah. Or what I want to see is a woman cut her showmance.
Well, we just saw that on Big Brother Canada 3.
Yes. Well, right.
I was
closer to the end, though. Closer to the end.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I've had enough of seeing that for a lifetime, so yeah, I'm good with that.
I can get on board with that.
Okay.
No, like if Shelly takes Clay to like Final Four and then has the option, like had Ashley blindsided Zach when she won HOH.
Yeah, that would have been nuts. That would have been nuts. I think that would have been too early, but I think she had the wheels turning. I have talked to her on a few occasions.
I know. She was close. She
was close, but
I think that's really the only way people, like a woman, would garner that type of respect, where you couldn't argue it at the end if it was like a showmance situation.
I think
I did what I had to do when I had to do it, right?
Yeah.
Or if Netta had done that to John, type of thing.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I think you got to either cut the showmance, or you have to be like Amanda Zuckerman, just super aggressive, controlling everything from like the get-go. I think that's the only way, and everyone views you in that light. I think that's the only way to end up in that scenario. Okay, Liza Muniz says, do you think Jackie or Becky will eventually make an impact and potentially win the game? Sarah.
No. No, I don't.
No, you don't.
Nope.
Trainwreck Becky ain't doing it for you?
Trainwrecky Becky, I love her, but unfortunately, I just think the answer to that question is no. It's amazing how, like, yes, there's a certain amount of, like, being quiet and downplaying your game at the start, but, I mean, when you come in the first week, that's who you're going to see. That type of gameplay, that's the gameplay you're going to see throughout.
Well, not always. Like, I mean, look at Godfrey. Godfrey's a great example of that. That's a dude that he was atrocious the first week, and then he turned it around and played one of the best games in Big Brother Canada history.
But his strategy was still to just tell people what they want to hear.
Right. So you're saying if you don't show any... Well, and I guess the difference here is that we've been here for, it's this week 3 now, and there's no inclination of having a strong game in any of those two.
So I don't see this thing snapping on and being like, you know what, I'm here to play Big Brother. I'm going to go around, I'm going to strategize, I'm going to make deals. I see them being like a number, unfortunately.
Interesting. I think Jackie has that potential in her. I just haven't seen any signs of that yet. She's playing very low-key.
I had huge hopes, but yeah, I mean, and I haven't been watching as much live feeds, but I mean, I think I've watched enough to get a good feel of them, and I mean, you don't see her. You just don't see her having those conversations.
No, you don't. You never see that. So, no, you've seen enough live feeds, Sarah, trust me. But, I would love to see them. It is a shame. I would love to see them do something, but...
Well, because it's like we said, I mean, 3 weeks go by, and then what's Becky going to do? She's going to go up to Clay and be like, hey, what's been going on the last 3 weeks? Do you want to talk some game?
Straight up. Exactly, right?
Like, remember that time I got hit by the train? That was a cool story. So who are you voting out this week?
But you know what? The only thing I could see is if you would have asked us, week 3 of Big Brother Canada 3, does Ashley Wood have a chance of winning this game the way how she was playing? You would say no, because Ashley hadn't really, she was laying low, she wasn't doing too much, she was in a few alliances here and there, but towards the end she turned it on and she played a really solid game. So I mean, you could argue, I mean, anything can happen. It's Big Brother. But I do agree with you. I mean, if this is Vegas, where the odds are like I don't know, like 10,000 to 1 or something that either of those two is winning the game.
Yeah.
So, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. I mean, anything can happen. Okay. At Reality TV Please says, do you think it's smart to be single in the house and align with showmances and or duos? I think this is a great question. I know how I feel about this. Sarah, how do you feel about this?
Of course it's smart. Of course it's, I mean, easy is the word. Not easy, easier. It's smart, though. I mean, it's funny because if you're someone like Clay or Zach, sure, of course that's the best strategy for you. I mean, someone like me, that isn't going to factor into the matter at all. Like, there's a certain way you can play, and if you want to play that way, as much as it's opening up your door for maybe one solid connection, it also closes 13, 14 other doors, right? When you come in and then you make a pair with someone. Like, there's been very few people, who was her name? The blonde from Big Brother, who, like, was able to have, like, multiple showmances within the house.
Oh, Allison.
Yeah, I love her, and that was awesome. But that's going to be very rare. That's going to cause more enemies than it's going to cause.
But what about the idea of aligning with, if you're a single? So your name is, so you're a single, and you align with these showmances. So let's say Liz doesn't have a twin right now, or I guess there's not showmance, but we can say Vanessa and Austin are a clear pair. Shelly and Claire are a clear pair. Would it make sense for Liz to align with that clear pair, or no? Would that not make sense for her?
I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah, no, I don't think. To me, that's making a choice to play for third.
Okay.
In a situation with the Shelly Clay thing, I mean, that's not going anywhere. There's nothing you can do there. If you're quite clearly the only third, like in a kind of, like in an Amanda McRae thing. Yes. And you're maybe the Spencer. And you have a really good connection with at least one of that couple, maybe stronger than they have with each other. And you have really no one else, and they have no one else, that's one thing. But in a situation where you have the Clay, the Shelly, and they are also sitting good with multiple other people in the house, I don't think anybody's best bet is to be the third.
Yeah, I think the ideal scenario is when you're aligned with multiple showmances. There's 2 of them. Yes. And you're a single in there, and then when it does come time for people to go after these showmances,
they're going to have to pick you.
They're going to have to, towards the end of the game, they're going to have to work with you. But also, earlier on in the game, I mean, Big Brother Canada 3, again, we have Godfrey Manquez is like, yo, I want your blood on these hands, yo. And he's like he's like, Zach, I'm going after you, man. And then the next week had your side of the house won. You guys are, and if I had stayed over Godfrey, your side of the house is not going after me. You're going, and even though I'm aligned with Kevin, Peely, Ashley, and Zach, you're going to go after Kevin and Zach, or Kevin and Peely, or Zach and Ashley before you're going to go after me.
Because there's still a hope that you're going to work with us. Yeah.
Exactly. And if you end up in a scenario which you go deep with those guys, you end up in a Final 5 type of situation, each showmance is going to want to use you, or each pair is going to want to use you because over that other pair, because they're going to want to, have the numbers advantage.
That was a genius move on your play. And that's why I knew that's exactly what was going to happen. I was like, well, he set himself up here in, like, the perfect situation. So at that point, you're a number, and you're a great number, and you're there, and you're going to have to be turned to, right? But in the just, like, the Clay Shelly situation, or if it was just Ashley Zach, if it was only those 2. Yes. Then you're just almost making yourself within that target, right? Because Ashley and Zach go up, one of them comes down.
You're the next one up. Yeah, right? I agree. Yeah, and there's flaws to it for sure. I mean, they can make arguments for it on both sides. And I think another thing, too, is that if you are in that situation, it's really hard to walk away as the winner because you end up in a Final 3 with a showmance. I mean, they're going to take the guy's going to take the girl's probably going to take the guy. I mean, it's a very little chance that you're going to pull that one out unless you win the final HOH. You take the one you think you have a better chance of beating, and then just cross your fingers and hope for the best. But yeah, you're playing with fire a little bit when you do it, but I think it can work well if you want to go deep into the game.
Yeah, absolutely, and as long as you're playing with all the other people as well.
Yes. So, but again, yeah, it's tough. I mean, the thing with Big Brother that I love so much is that there's no definitive answer to anything.
Oh, absolutely.
There's so many different possibilities, and anything. It happens. We have such a small sample size. There's no right or wrong way.
Oh, and we're human beings. Someone could look at you the wrong way, right? And
exactly.
And that's it.
Exactly.
Like Davon kept talking about that wink that Audrey gave her, right? That wink, and it just rattled Day. It rattled her, and it got in her head. And I think there's little things like that we don't realize, even as you could be the biggest super fan in the world, but you don't realize that it's just like life. The leaf falls from the tree and blows in the wind this way, and it changes the whole outcome of everything.
Absolutely. All right, so we're going to take one more question here, and then I've got a couple questions from the RHAP patron group, which I will get into in a sec. But okay, Totally Offside wants to know, who is most likely to volunteer to go on the block this season? Well, we've already had that a few times. Jason actually volunteered last week. Sarah, most likely to volunteer to go on the block, who is it?
Johnny Mac.
I guess he sort of already kind of did that, right? By throwing these Battle of the Blocks, right? He's going on the block, so I think that's.
But there's a certain amount of too, as the audience needs to realize is like someone like Jason, he knows he's going on the block anyway.
Exactly. So it's a little bit different, or like yeah.
But you know what? This cast is doing a bad job at being like, I think I might put you up. I think I might put you up. I think I might put you up, and then they put like the fifth option up, and it's like, don't scare the crap out of everybody, and then put Becky up.
Or try to negotiate a deal or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I don't get it. Okay, so we're going to hop in. We got 2 questions here I pulled from the Rob Has a Podcast patron group, and that's one of the benefits of being a patron of Rob Has a Podcast. So if you want to support RHAP, you can go to robhasawebsite.com/patron. You can join this Facebook group, hang out with a bunch of cool RHAP fans. I'm in there. We have all these cool threads, talk about stuff, and I post this thread each week where people can ask questions. So these people are getting exclusive questions answered. If you want to be like that, sign up, be a patron. Okay, Ron Chan wants to know, Sarah, what is your response to people that say you suffered from crybaby-itis in the Big Brother house?
Oh, I totally did. My response is, well, Scott, my partner, has been telling everybody I cry more in real life than I did on the show, if you can believe it. So I think I did really well in the house. It's so intense, like so intense. And I loved you all so much. It was just like, it was so emotionally tormenting for me. I'm such a super fan of the game, and I just didn't, you don't realize how hard it's going to be until you're in there, and like the littlest things happen, and it's just like, it's devastating, you know? Someone misses their mom, and it makes you miss the people in your life, and also I wanted it so bad. Like, you guys saw how hard I was on myself.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like that in real life, and I'm learning, I'm better, I'm getting better, but it was just, I think that was a combination. I was just very hard on myself. I mean, I think we all know, and this pressure is like, it's our dream come true. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so anytime I got mad or frustrated or sad or happy, all of my emotion comes from my eyes. So I definitely was a crybaby. I know I suffered, but it's what I had to do to get by. And I went going in, I said, you know, anytime you cry, like if tears are coming, let them flow. Like that's going to work to your advantage.
No, and you know what? Honestly, Sarah, it worked. You're $100,000 richer, so anyone else who says anything otherwise...
I'll cry my tears tonight with my $100 bills,
yes,
my friend.
Exactly, yes. Cried your way to $100,000. I think, well done. It worked. And honestly, no, I think really... the fact that you would cry and show emotion, I think that really showed that you were like a real person, and I think that made you more endearing to other people in the house, because because you don't know who you can trust in there, and when you see somebody who is very emotional and is willing to wear their heart on their sleeve, I think it's almost refreshing, because you don't really see that too much.
And there's a communications theory that goes, along the lines of like the more you open up and show vulnerability to people, the more they will open up and show vulnerability back to you. So I always thought like of those situations where like Ika and Heather, for example, and they hated each other, and like whatever rift there was there, it couldn't be broken. But if Heather had just gone and cried to Ika, that would have been smoothed over in a minute, you know? And so it's good to open up, it's good to show vulnerability and say to someone, you know, like, I can feel like you don't like me, and that's fine, but, you know, this is who I am. And then it strips that, like, layer of the game off, and you're just a human, you know? Like, when Cindy lost that power of veto, everybody wanted Cindy out at that point, except for a small select few of us, and everybody was bawling, you know? Like, you miss that. Like, it was so funny. There was so much drama and, like, resentment between like the rest of the diaper gang and Cindy, and yet when she lost that veto, everybody was crying. And,
yeah, absolutely.
And I said to her, this is your moment. Like, if you can get in now, you're just a person to them, and so like that's how I played the game, and I think that's how you should play the game, is try to find those like human moments.
Absolutely. No, it's a great advice, honestly. Yeah, I think that if you show vulnerability, other people are going to want to be vulnerable with you. It's going to make them want to trust you more. And it worked. Definitely worked with me and you, because I trusted you a lot because you were very vulnerable with me all the time. So kudos to you, Sarah.
And then that's the thing is, I mean, as much as a strategy, it's like that's just who I am, and that's like how I live life, right? So
that's perfect. That's what you want, right? Okay, last question here. The great Alex Kidwell, live feed correspondent.
Alex!
He asks, Sarah, how would you rank the Big Brother Canada winners? And what, if anything, would you like to see be done differently in Big Brother Canada 4 regarding twists, etc.?
Oh, I love this question, because I've heard this question. I've heard Sesternino and maybe Alex and maybe others rank the Big Brother Canada 3 winners. And I am not ever on the top of that. So let me just say that in my ranking, I would definitely be on the top of that.
All right. Number 1, Sarah Hanlon. Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and give myself that.
Number 1. All right. Okay. Who's number 2?
No one else is going to, so I have to. And then, well, the ranking that I see generally is John, Jillian, me.
Yeah.
I would go me, Jillian, John. Is how I would go.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. You're reversing it. So girl power at the top.
Yeah.
Girl power at the top. Okay.
Well, Jillian, Jillian rocked out those comps, and now after seeing Ashley pull it out at the end and really realizing, like, because I was very much a person who was like, if you need comps, then, like, the more comps you win, that's actually detriment against you in my eyes to how well you played the game if you needed those comps to keep you safe.
Absolutely.
But after being in the game and realizing, like when I won that veto, like the feeling you feel and like you just made yourself safe, you know? After realizing like how powerful that was, and to see Ashley do it 3 times in a row, I give a lot more kudos to that type of game now.
Absolutely.
And to like a game like Jillian. So yeah, I would do it that way.
Okay, and then in terms of the twists and whatnot for BB Camp 4, what would you like to see?
BB Camp 4. Oh, I want to see a Canada's HOH, not where they put people up, but where they pick an HOH.
That's what we speculated in the house. I would love to see that.
Yes, we always said maybe this is what they'll do, and they'll pick Godfrey. That's what I kept thinking. Oh, they're going to pick Godfrey to be the HOH, and then everything's going to be perfect. So that would be great. Maybe give someone a veto at like early on.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah,
like,
that would be cool.
Kevin or someone was a fan favorite, like right from the start. Kevin would have had a veto in his back pocket, that type of thing.
Could have used that.
For the balloon pop or something. Right?
Yes, that would have been crazy. Yeah, something like that. I like the balloon pop tasks sort of things where you like put yourself at risk and to earn a reward, but perhaps maybe not a cash reward, but game related. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for joining me today. It was a pleasure having you. You were such a great guest. I mean, I didn't expect anything less. You're doing so well with the House Guest Hangout, so again, congratulations on that. If you guys want to follow Sarah on Twitter, you can hit her up. She's at Flats Hanlon. Now, Sarah, for the folks at home, where does Flats come from?
It's kind of a convoluted story, I guess. I like jazz music a lot, and there's like Fats Domino is my favorite, and there's Fats Whaler, and so I wanted people to call me Fats. That didn't take off. They started calling me Flats instead for obvious reasons. So
there you go.
That took off instead. So.
Flats Hanlon. Okay.
I'm always flat on my saxophone too, so because I'm terrible.
I've never heard you play the saxophone. You should have brought it on the podcast.
It's terrible. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll do a little jazz man for you.
There you go. Next time. Okay. So we need a hashtag for this episode of the podcast. So if you made it all the way to the end, whether you are watching this live and you want to tweet Sarah and I and let us know how we did, or you're listening to this in the audio archives, how about, let's see, what hashtag? What did we talk about this episode? We talked about Rubik's Cubes. We talked about Clay's friend. We talked about Bayside. What's a good hashtag?
Oh, let's do Bayside.
Bayside? Okay, yeah. Bayside. So use the hashtag Bayside. If you in tweet myself, I'm at Jordan Parhar. Again, Sarah at Flats Hanlon. Let us know how we did, what you thought about the show. If you want to subscribe to this show and support us, you can subscribe on YouTube at the Reality TV RHAP-ups page. You can always also, again, subscribe on iTunes and get this on your phone, listen to it in the car when you're working out, whatnot. So robhasawebsite.com/RHAPpy hour for that. So that's RHAPPY hour. Also, download the Rob has a podcast app, so you can listen to all the different friends of RHAPpy, hear our stuff, listen to Rob's show if you don't want to use the podcast app on your phone. It's an easier way to do that. Other than that, we are good. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, checking out this show, and supporting us. Much appreciated. I will see you next time. And for Sarah Hanlon, my name is Jordan Parhar. Peace out.
Bye, guys.